everyone to the Cheltenham Countdown channel here on YouTube. You are watching a Cheltenham preview episode again. This time it's the November meeting edition. 3 days of racing back at Cheltenham this weekend. I'm going to give you a rundown of the majority of the races throughout the 3 days on this channel with some tips of certain races along the way as well. The best bets will always come towards the end. I'll also take a look at what is a big weekend across the Irish Sea at Navan. Some exciting horses could have a race there over the course of the weekend. Some big entries, of course, from Willie Mullins' yard among some. So it's a jam-packed show ready for a big weekend of jumps racing. Do give the video a like. Feel free to share as well. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Before, guys, I get stuck into the weekend preview with the tips and everything amongst Cheltenham. I'm going to start off the show, as always, with a few features that I always do, including the race rebound. Before then, it's always the latest jumps news. And first things first, the big breaking news from National Hunt Racing that was announced yesterday morning is that Statesman is out for the season, as was confirmed by the team at Willie Mullins' yard. Willie said the horse had suffered a tendon injury on the gallops on Wednesday morning and is ruled out for this season. Such disappointing news, of course, for a very good, consistently top-class horse who always runs at a high level. Like I say, he's very consistent and reliable, always reliable, season in, season out, and has been a horse who's always remained well and sound. So it's a bit of a shame and a big surprise to see him had this injury at this time of his career. But these horses are proper athletes, and these things can happen to them. In that regard, the champion hurdle picture has been blown open a bit and will definitely change, you'd think, for a few horses to be a part of at the yard. Obviously, some horses at Willie Mullins' yard will now probably be reverted to a champion hurdle, whereas they might not have at the start of the season. Who's going to run in the race for Willie Mullins now? So is it a horse in the same ownership as Statesman in Amsterdam? Could he be the first choice prospect for the race? Most likely going there probably as well. Obviously, he was entered for the Fighting Fifth, was Amsterdam. Now, could he be reverted back to the Morgiana at Punchestown instead? Wait to see what that. Will it be Lossiemouth who appears and finally gets her shot this time around? Obviously, the mare getting the allowance. Or could we see some younger horses being rerouted from initial plans and maybe get thrown into a champion hurdle division? So many things will get answered, so many things up in the air at the moment and could happen, but be prepared for some Willie Mullins bingo, guys. I wouldn't be getting stuck into the champion hurdle market just as yet because we don't know what Willie Mullins is thinking. We don't know who's going to be sent there from the Willie Mullins yard. And obviously you've got other horses from other stables that have a better shot now, the likes of the New Lion for Dan Skelton, Constitution Hill for Nicky Henderson. There are some other horses in that, obviously William Money as well for Barry Connell. There are some other horses that probably do fancy their chances a lot more now with Stateman's injury. So I wouldn't be getting stuck into the race just yet for anti-post wise. But if you guys are, just consider there's a lot of things that could happen, obviously with the Willie Mullins stables and other horses from other yards that still have to come out and race. But that is the latest jumps news. Just a quick little feature this time around with the big breaking news that Statesman is out for the season. Rebound time now, and there are 3 races. Obviously, I'm now doing these race rebounds for the rest of the season, probably more weekends than others, with a view to the Cheltenham Festival in March. Who's going to be running well in that meeting at the festival? Who has a shot in a division that they have a great chance in? And the 3 horses that raced in the last week or so that I think could stand a good chance at the festival now that they have come out this season and potentially run well so far. I'll start off with Imposatoire for Nicky Henderson and JP McManus, who won a Pertemps Hurdle qualifier at Aintree last Saturday for Nico de Boinville, who rode him. He is 14-1 for the Pertemps final at the moment and 20-1 for the Stayers Hurdle. He won off 148, so a mark of 148 on the weekend, and has now gone up to 153 following his victory at Aintree, as he did win it quite easily in the process. He was never worked too hard for his win either, so has received another £5 for his new rating. So clearly he's qualified now for the Pertemps final in March and would almost certainly be one of the top rated horses you'd think in that race. So would the team at Seven Barrows and JP, would the team opt for a Stayers Hurdle tilt instead? Is he good enough over 3 miles at Cheltenham? That was his first run over the trip last Saturday, but did finish second, remember, in the Coral Cup last season at Cheltenham. Something to ponder over for connections then, I guess, with obviously a tilt at the Stayers Hurdle, or would they just keep on going for the Thames final path for the rest of the season? But you could campaign him in Grade 1s over the Stayers Hurdle trip now, I think. That's probably what's going to come into their thinking throughout the rest of the season in races like the long distance hurdle at Newbury or the long walk at Ascot, which would likely be his next race, one of those two races. I'd imagine then he could take in the Cleve hurdle on trials day to find out his true handling of the track and the trip in January before the Cheltenham Festival. So that's impositoire. Could he have a tilt at the Thames final, which he's now qualified in after winning his qualifier at Aintree last Saturday? Or are they now thinking he's good enough for a stage? So on the rebound I want to talk about now is Only by Night, who won at Naas on Sunday in the Grade 3 Barberstone Castle Chase, beating champ Kyle Lee very well in the end. Obviously neck and neck towards him, but did beat the gelding, obviously with the mare's allowance in the race as well. She now has a mare's chase quote, which could be a target at the festival. It's now 6-1 for the mare's chase. I have just had a look at that now. Gavin Cromwell has hinted a bit that she is likely to head towards that race at the festival. Although things could change, could she be a Queen Mother Champion Chase candidate, you think? She's very high up in the market for that race as well, because there are a few top horses in that particular market. Would she be able to handle against the geldings in that high class Grade 1? Or could she even go against her own sex and potentially be competitive in the mare's chase at the festival? There's a bit of thinking around there, but she'd have to step up in trip to go to the mare's chase as well. So wait and see to see if Only by Night, who's been bought by Rob Core now, which might have a significant decision in terms of what race she does go to at the festival. Either the champion chase or the mare's chase, likely to be one or the other, I feel. She is a very good mare, finished second in the Arca last season behind Django Bai, but in front of Majbra, who's high up in the champion chase market. There are things to consider, but early on these days, I'd probably think she'd head slightly more towards the mare's chase against her own sex before taking on the boys in the champion chase. I just think that race would be a bit too much for her, in my opinion. The other horse, the final horse in the rebound I want to mention this week is who ran at Carlisle on Monday, and you may think straight away who this horse is. Trained by Dan Skelton, called My Daddy Paddy, and is now 8-1 best price for the Supreme Novices Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. I think that's a bit of a extreme reaction immediately after the race. I mean, we haven't seen any of the novices over 2 miles, especially from Ireland run yet this season, in terms of them being a proper Supreme Novice Hurdle candidate so far. So maybe this side of the Irish could be a very, very good sort, but I think the price is a bit of a extreme reaction immediately after the race at Carlisle. I mean, he did beat a nice horse in second called Harbour Island. Decent form to his name, but he does need to get into graded company first as well before we start mentioning him as a proper contender for the Supreme. So I'd hold off that market again for now. I mean, like I said, he's only had two starts, one at Huntington, a bumper last season, and obviously this at Carlisle on Monday. He was very impressive in the process, run well, travelled well, jumped neatly, but I want to see him out in graded company first before backing him potentially for the Supreme. So they're the three horses in the rebound this week. Let me just reiterate. Impositoire. Could he be a Stayers Hurdle candidate or remain a Thames final horse? Only by Night. Questions to ask whether she's a mare's chase horse or even a Queen Mother Champion chase horse in the making. And My Daddy Paddy, is he too short for the Supreme Novices Hurdle? Put in the comments below what you guys think on those three horses and whether you think they stand a chance at next year's Cheltenham Festival. Horse on the rebound I want to talk about now is Only by Night, who won at Naas on Sunday in the Grade 3 Barberstone Castle Chase, beating champ Kyle Lee very well in the end. Obviously neck and neck towards him, but did beat the gelding, obviously with the mare's allowance in the race as well. She now has a mare's chase quote, which could be a target at the festival. It's now 6-1 for the mare's chase. I have just had a look at that now. Gavin Cromwell has hinted a bit that she is likely to head towards that race at the festival. Although things could change, could she be a Queen Mother Champion Chase candidate, you think? She's very high up in the market for that race as well, because there are a few top horses in that particular market. Would she be able to handle against the geldings in that high class Grade 1, or could she even go against her own sex and potentially be competitive in the mares chase at the festival? There's a bit of thinking around there, but she'd have to step up in trip to go to the mares chase as well. So wait and see to see if Only by Night, who's been bought by Rob Core now, which might have a significant decision in terms of what race she does go to at the festival. Either the Champion Chase or the Mares Chase, likely to be one or the other, I feel. She is a very good mare, finished second in the Arca last season behind Django Bai, but in front of Majbra, who's high up in the Champion Chase market. There are things to consider, but early on these days, I'd probably think she'd head slightly more towards the Mares Chase against her own sex before taking on the boys in the Champion Chase. I just think that race would be a bit too much for her, in my opinion. The other horse, the final horse in the Rebound I want to mention this week is who ran at Carlisle on Monday, and you may think straight away who this horse is. Trained by Dan Skelton, called My Daddy Paddy, and is now 8-1 best price for the Supreme Novices Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. I think that's a bit of an extreme reaction immediately after the race. I mean, we haven't seen any of the novices over 2 miles, especially from Ireland run yet this season, in terms of them being a proper Supreme Novice Hurdle candidate so far. So maybe this side of the Irish could be a very, very good sort, but I think the price is a bit of a extreme reaction immediately after the race at Carlisle. I mean, he did beat a nice horse in second called Harbour Island. Decent form to his name, but he does need to get into graded company first as well before we start mentioning him as a proper contender for the Supreme. So I'd hold off that market again for now. I mean, like I said, he's only had two starts, one at Huntington, a bumper last season, and obviously this at Carlisle on Monday. He was very impressive in the process, run well, travelled well, jumped neatly, but I want to see him out in graded company first before backing him potentially for the Supreme. So there are the 3 horses in the Rebound this week. Let me just reiterate. Impose Etoile. Could he be a Stays Hurdle candidate or remain a potential final horse? Only by Night. Questions to ask whether she's a Mares Chase horse or even a Queen Mother Champion Chase horse in the making. And My Daddy Paddy, is he too short for the Supreme Novices Hurdle? Put in the comments below what you guys think on those 3 horses and whether you think they stand a chance at next year's Cheltenham Festival. Preview time. The first race, the preview of the November meeting, is on Friday, 1:10. The opening race of the entire card at Cheltenham on Friday. 2 mile, 5 furlongs, conditional jockeys, handicap hurdle. Class 3 from 0 to 125 rated horses. And I already have one of my best bets of the entire weekend running in this race. The first race on Friday. It's going to be a Pas de Nom. I think I pronounced that correctly, for Dan Skelton. It won't be ridden by Harry Skelton this time because it is for conditional jockeys, of course. Ridden by Tristan Durrell, who claims the £3 off the horse. He's rated 116 at the moment. Has had the 4 starts under rules. Has already raced twice this season already. Won his maiden hurdle at Newton Abbot quite well. Then finished second in a good sort of the David Pipe stable in Gentleman to Boot. So that's, I think that horse is pretty good, pretty smart as well. So there are 2 horses who pulled well clear of the third in that Class 3 Novice Hurdle at Newton Abbot on his latest start. And a Pas de Nom will love this ground. There is forecast lot of rain and wet weather to be going to Cheltenham before tomorrow afternoon, so there could be a change in the going description before the opening race of the meeting, but I think a Pas de Nom will relish it at the moment. It is currently good to soft. He's also had 2 starts in bumpers as a Pas de Nom. Finished second behind Sober Glory, one of my horses to follow, of course, at the start of the season. He finished second behind him in his first start on the rules. His most disappointing start in 4 starts for a Pas de Nom was 5th at Sandown, but that was in heavy ground. I didn't think he relished those conditions there at that particular racetrack. So let me just run you through the market at the moment. Obviously, a Pas de Nom favourite, 9-2. He has been supported well in the market because earlier in the week he was roughly 6-1, 13-2 at that moment. So he has been backed in quite well so far. Second in the market, you have Cap Verde. He's 15-2. Like I said, there's a bit of a differential difference in the market at the moment between the top 2 in the market. Lucky Manifest, 15-2 as well. And Valcadina for David Pipe is 15-2 also. But I think a Pas de Nom, who's had those 2 starts already this season, will come in to this race with fitness edge on his side. Tristan Durrell is a very good conditional jockey for the yard. And I think Like Dan Skelton's a good target trader. We all know that. He's been targeting horses very well so far this season. This could be another in the opening race of the November meeting. So one of my best bets, which I'll fast forward towards the end of the video with my best bets, is coming in this opening race. A Pie de Nom, 10 past 1 at Cheltenham on Friday in the 2 mile 5 furlong conditional jockeys. Next race on Friday now, guys, is the 220 I'm going to preview, which is the 3 mile 1 furlong novices chase, a listed contest. And you have Weighed Out as the favourite at the moment for Sean Bourne and Ollie Murphy at 9 to 4. Leave of Absence is 3 to 1. Double Powerful 4 to 1. One Big Bang at 9 to 2. And the final horse in the market is Isaac Desobo at 17 to 2. Now, not a betting race in my opinion, as I do think Weighed Out will probably just edge it, but I'm not prepared to back him at 9 to 4 at the moment. I think Leave of Absence will make most of the running. That's probably where the pace will come from. He obviously won the October meeting when he beat Pied Piper, but the last 2 fences were omitted in that particular race because of the low sun. So I think if the jumping does come, jumping is going to be important on the old course. I think Leave of Absence is a solid jumper, but Weighed Out does like to come from off the pace, and if there's going to be a lot of pace in this race, like I said, jumping, any mistakes, and Weighed Out will be there with Sean Bowen, any mistakes, and he'll be waiting to pick horses off one by one. I just think he won his beginner's chase at Worcester, beating Wendigo. I think it was a decent performance from Weighed Out at the opening race of the season for him. He should come on for that run a lot, and obviously with Ollie Murphy and Sean Bowen, the combination there, they're in flying form like they always are this season. He gets the £3 from Leave of Absence because of Leave of Absence penalty. I think One Big Bang is interesting, but I think he's more interesting over hurdles than being chucked into this list and novice chase on his first start over fences. So I think he's more to watch out over hurdles this season. And they're the three at the moment I take from the market. Is Weighed Out at 9 to 4. Not going to back him at that price. Leave of Absence, I don't think he's going to back up his October meeting victory again this time in November meeting in the November edition. And like I said, One Big Bang, he's more of a horse over hurdles to watch out for. Double Powerful is a consistent score, but I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's a one I'd side with over 3 miles at Cheltenham. And Isaac Desobo, I don't think Harry Cobden and Paul Nicholls know what they're going to do with this horse. So that's my sort of summary of this particular race. But I think Weighed Out will be hard to beat. Off 9 to 4, not a backing price for me. The race on Friday of day 1 of the meeting is the 2:55, the 2 mile Schlur chase, where you have John Bon heading the market. But this time it's at even money. Is even money a steal to punters? We'll soon find out. Lieu de Sud is in the Bahari and Dan Skelton's second favourite at 100 to 30. Liberty Hunter 5 to 1. Matata 16 to 1. Edwardstone 18 to 1. Brookie at 40s and Alex Desobo is 50 to 1, the outsider. I just seen the market again now, and I think I'm shocked to see John Bonnet even money. I really thought he'd be a long odds on favourite at the moment, purely for the fact he's won this race twice before, first time out in the season. He finished second in the champion chase last season when he did do a mistake or two in the race, and that would put you off potentially backing back at Cheltenham. But isn't he just the class act in this race? Again, soon to find out. If there's one horse I'd back against John Bon, it would be Liberty Hunter, who was going well in the Queen Mother Champion Chase at the festival in March when falling, I think, 3 out. So he was going well. Not saying he was going to win the race, but he was going well for Evan Williams. And Harry Cobden does ride him. Harry Cobden's on board him for this race tomorrow. And I think the fact Harry Cobden's on it does give him more of a boost. He obviously finished second on him on Liberty Hunter in the Grand Annual at the 2023 meeting or the 2024 meeting. I can't remember really. One of the 2 meetings there. Finished being an unexpected party, although. So I think if I was to back one against John Bonnet, it would be Liberty Hunter. Matata is going to go out in front, obviously, as he always does. He didn't run his race at the October meeting, so I can't have him whatsoever. Edwardstone just bumps into a good one all the time, so I can't have him again for the Schlur chase. And the 2 outsiders will probably make up the rest of the field. Lieu de Sud at 130, I think is a bit well too short in my opinion. So he's off my radar. It's just between John Bonnet even money and Liberty Hunter at 5 to 1. And the fact of just seeing the drift on John Bonnet now is swaying me towards him, just purely because of the price impact. And he's got to give £6 to Liberty Hunter as well, which won't be easy for him in terms of the weight that they're both going to be having. So again, I'll be patient on this race. If John Bunn does go even further, you're going to side with John Bunn definitely odds against. But he's currently even money. Is that a steal? Is that a steal for punters? Who knows? Who knows at this moment in time? But tomorrow afternoon at 2:55, we will find out whether John Bunn can win this race for a third time. Nicky Henderson does seem to think he's going to be staying over this trip for the rest of the season, and if that's the case, this is a massive race for him to win. He has to go and win it in terms of being a stepping stone for the Tingle Creek and the Champion Chase for the rest of the campaign. So we wait to see whether John Bunn can beat these horses again in the Slur Chase. But like I said, if there's one horse to go up against him, will be Liberty Hunter. That's just my verdict and my opinion on this race this season. So it's either going to be John Bunn or Liberty Hunter, and I'll let you all know via my selections on Twitter and X for the rest of the weekend. 3:30 at Cheltenham on Friday is the 2 mile 5 furlong Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle, Grade 2, registered as the Hyde Novices Hurdle. And Heads Up, who finished second in the Champion Bumper, is your market leader at 5-2. No drama this end for Harry Cobden and Paul Nicholls is 4-1. Great Fleet for Dan Skelton, 11-2. We'll Only Have the One is 13-2 for Gavin Cromwell. Money Garrow, 11-1. Fountains Blenheim, 14-1. King's Bucks, 16-1. And it's 18-1 bar. I actually do have a tip in this race. It's quite competitive for a novice hurdle Grade 2 at Cheltenham already this season, which is good. Good to have competitive racing and good to have this amount of runners. I'm taking on Heads Up, who finished second in the bumper. I think he's a bit too short for that race, and I think he's too quick for this type of trip at Cheltenham, in my opinion. He did run well in the Champion Bumper, and I just think this trip of 2 mile 5 furlong is stretching him out a bit too much. So I'm going to side with No Drama this end, who Paul Nicholls has hold well in good esteem. He has spoken about this horse quite a lot in his stable tours already this season and in interviews. He does seem to think a lot of this horse. Harry Cobden will ride him. Now, he finished 9th in the Champion Bumper, the Champion Bumper, which Heads Up finished second in. No Drama this end definitely needs a trip. In comparison to Heads Up, who's quite quick, No Drama this end is definitely needing a trip. One is point to point as well to this horse, No Drama this end. I think, like I say, he finished 9th in the bumper, was going around the bend quite well, was tanking along, but then just got done for speed up the Cheltenham Hill. So the fact that they're stepping up to 2 miles 5 furlongs is a good thing. I personally think this bumper, that the Champion Bumper that people are crabbing a lot of, I don't think it's as bad as what people say it is. You have a good amount of decent horses in this that did run in that race. Obviously won by Bambino Fever, the mare for William Mullins. Heads Up finished second. There are some decent British horses that ran in this race at the time. Obviously El Kairos now switched to a different yard. He finished 5th in the race. Idaho's Son, I really like that horse, finished 6th in the race. So too for Willie Mullins, 7th. He Can't Dance was a good horse for is a good horse for Gordon Elliott. They were all in front of No Drama this end. I don't think this Champion Bumper is as bad as what people think it is. You obviously have him behind No Drama this end. Horse who finished 10th, Copacabana, Calypso Chance, Game of Inches, even Fortune de Mare finished 14th in that Champion Bumper, has come out and already won this season. So I don't think it's as bad as what people say it is, and I think No Drama this end could be a nice little horse going forward from the bumper. He's 4-1 at the moment for the race on Friday, the Hyde Novices Hurdle, and I'd probably side with him, if anyone. I'll probably side with No Drama this end. So there are some other horses in there that could be progressive going on for the rest of the season. The likes of Great Fleet for the Skeltons and Money Garrow, who's already had a run this season. But I want to side with the horse with more potential, and I think the horse No Drama this end, who has got a lot of scope to be a good horse in the future, is who I'm going to be siding with. 2 races to preview on Saturday, and then I'll do 2 on Sunday afterwards. Starting off for the 2 mile at 1:45 at Cheltenham on Saturday, the 2 mile Paddy Power Arkle Challenge Trophy Trial Novices Chase, a Grade 2, so it's an Arkle trial pretty much. And July Flower heads the market for Henry Bromhead. She's 5-4 the mare. Be Aware is 15-4 for Harry and Dan Skelton. Burdett Road 6-1. Stencil 9-1. Brentford Hope 20-1. And Breaking Cover is back. Ran last weekend at Wincanton, of course. He's 40-1, the outsider. I do not have a preference or a massive opinion on this race, to be honest. Some nice types, but I don't think they're going to be going much further and winning more graded races for the rest of the season. July Flower obviously is the mare who could be one that you side with for the rest of the season in the mares division. Even if she wins this, she could be an Arkle type, but I don't think she'll be competitive in an Arkle. Be aware for Harry Dan Skelton, don't know what to make of him. He's already won this season at Stratford in a beginner's chase. He won that quite well, actually. I did watch that race. He did win it quite well in front of a horse that fell in the race called Range. Obviously, I did like Range earlier on in the season at Chepstow, but regardless of that, be aware, won that Stratford quite well. Burdett Road is in here as well. Didn't think he'd be a chasing type, in my opinion. Stencil in here, who's a 4-year-old, does get the weight as well from the rest of his rivals. Harry Cobden does right as well. I think he's a bit too young at the moment to potentially winning a race like this. He may go on and be a very good horse of offences. Brentford Hope in here as well. His first chase start, I believe. So I don't think he's gonna fare well, unfortunately. And obviously, Breaking Cover might not even run because he ran last weekend. So it's not a race I'm gonna get stuck into. I don't have a massive opinion. If I was pinned against the wall to pick a section, I'd probably go with a favourite, but I'm not going to be siding with anyone in this race whatsoever. Then obviously we move on to the Paddy Power Gold Cup. Is the Paddy Power Gold Cup next, the actual feature race, I think, of the entire weekend. It's a good race, but perhaps not a vintage renewal this season. It will be run at a fair pace though, and Jaguar is a worthy favourite anti-post. He heads the market and has been the market leader for quite some time for this race. I'd have slight doubts about his lofty mark at the moment. In terms of, can he go and beat some good seasoned horses in this race? Ones that are trained and geared and targeted for the Paddy Power Gold Cup. He clearly improved as the season went on last campaign, and the form of his plate win at the festival isn't bad. Masaccio in third that day behind Jaguar is now rated 150. Jordan's in fifth, finished second behind Caldwell Potter at Aintree as well. However, Jaguar, he only just shrugged off the company sergeant in March, who isn't that much of a top horse, I think. So perhaps you could question who he did beat. So there's a bit of a difference in views there from my thinking from the plate. Obviously, the form was all right, but then who we beat in second isn't the top notcher. The race will also be run on the old course, remember, a bigger test of jumping and speed. Whereas Jaguar's 2 wins at the track at Cheltenham last season were on the new course, which is more emphasis on stamina, where he was travelling much the best. I'd question Jaguar's jumping all over that great, as he hasn't had a prep run for this handicap either. So the big question is whether he is a graded horse in this handicap, and if he is, he needs to go and win this race. Can he win first time out as well and then move on to bigger and better things for the rest of the season? I don't really think so. So because of my slight doubts with some of these questions, I can't side with a Jaguar. Therefore, I do have a tip elsewhere, and it's going to be Henry de Bromhead's horse Coming Up Easy, who has already had a pipe opener and a run under his belt for this race already this season. He won a Killarney earlier on this summer, and I think Henry de Bromhead speaks well of this horse. He has put him in for this race earlier in the season in terms of he's been a target for him, he's been touted for it, he's going to be primed for the race. Darragh O'Keefe will ride, and he's obviously a fantastic jockey already out in Ireland this season and has been for some time. He's winning a lot of the big races, and Coming Up Easy is a nice price as well at 12-1. I have backed him at 12-1. It's a good each way price as well if that's how you want to play the race. There are some other horses in here that are seasoned and nice horses that do run season in season out, the likes of Vincenzo, Il Ridotto, who won the race last season, already had a pipe open at Chepstow. He could be nice, but I wouldn't want to side with him again for this. If he wins this race, I'd be a bit disappointed personally. No disrespect to their connections. Panic Attack the mare for Dan Skelton. You also got the company sergeant who did run against Jaguar at the festival. He's in here as well. So there are some nice types, but I think I want a horse that comes into this race in good form, is primed, geared up, and Coming Up Easy for Henry de Bromhead ticks those boxes in my opinion. So he's the one I'm going to be siding with for the Paddy Power against Jaguar, the market leader and the anti-post favourite. Penultimate race to preview now, guys, is on Sunday. Moving on to Sunday's card, 2:55 there, 3 miles, 3.5 furlongs is the odds checker handicap chase over the marathon course of 3 miles, 3.5 furlongs. Protect Drad is top of the weight and is heading the market at the moment at 3-1. Tanganyika is 4-1 for Charlie Deutsch and Venetia Williams. Marble Sands is 5-1. Bullport 6-1. Rock My Way 8-1, and it's 10-1 bar, including Ask Brewster, who won at Chepstow in the Welsh Racing Festival. I do have a selection in here, not one of my strongest selections of the entire weekend, but nonetheless I do have a tip. It's going to be Bowport for Sam Twiston-Davies at the moment. One ran in the Grand National in April Aintree last season. Did finish the race, finished 12th, so did finish the course, which is fair play to him and connections. And also did win first time out last season at Ascot over 3 miles. So I think he does go well fresh. We know he goes well first time out as well. 6-1, decent price. I wouldn't want to sell a Protectorat off top weight, carrying 12 stone off 165 as a 10-year-old as well. I think that's going to be too much for him. So I'm going to side with Bowport, who's getting £7 off Protector off 154. Is a bit of a lofty mark for him, but I still think he'll stay, and that'll be important in the race. We need a horse that stays this trip, and I think Bowport has proven that at Ascot last season, proven that at the national trip. He's a solid selection. So I think I'm going to side with him at 6-1 for the Twiston-Davies race. The preview of guys this weekend from Cheltenham's November meeting is the 3:30 on Sunday, the 2 mile, half a furlong, very competitive, ultra competitive Unibet Greatwood Hurdle. Decks aren't out yet at the time of recording on Thursday afternoon, yet we do have a anti-post market leader in Mirabad for Harry Skelton and Dan Skelton. Alexei's in there for Brendan Powell and Joe Tizard. Celtic Dino is going to be carrying top weight for Sam Thomas, obviously won the Welsh Champion Hurdle at Chepstow in October. Gibbs Island is in there, Serious Challenge, Iberico Lord for Nicky Henderson, Castle Carrock and Knickerbocker Glory, among others as well. It's a very, very ultra-competitive race this season. I don't have a strong selection yet. I do have a tip I'm going to put up. I may have two come the day, but the tip I'm going to put up at this moment in time is a horse trained by Neil King called Rubber Ball, a 5-year-old gelding trained by Neil King. He's going to be carrying next to no weight, one of the lowest carrying carrying horses, I should say, carrying the lowest amount of weight in the race. Hasn't got a jockey booking yet, but he will have one, obviously, when decks do come out. His form at the moment, well, he did run at the back end last season at Aintree in a Grade 1 there, behind the likes of Salvatore Mundi and Romeo Coolio. Finished last in that race, but that was a very hard race for him to go and performing. That was his last race of the campaign last season. Prior to that, he was running in a Class 2 novice hurdle race at Newbury, which he did win, in front of the likes of Tutti Quanti and Keensome, two very good sorts for their stables. Before that, then he ran at the beginning of the year in Utoxeter, that when he broke his maiden hurdle tag, winning over 2 miles at Utoxeter, beating a horse in second that day, who's gone on to win his next race subsequently. The level of form to his name is all right, not so strong, not too vintage, but I'm just going with the horse. I think you want a horse that's carrying a lot less amount of weight in this race. I feel it's going to be a very fastly run pace. He'll sit in behind the leaders, which is good. I want him to be up there with the pace. And I said there's a lot of pace in here as well. The favoured horses, I think, in this race at the moment are going to be carrying a lot of weight. For example, Celtic Dino is going to be carrying 12 stone if he is to run. Rubber Ball will be carrying 10 stone 12. So there's over a stone in difference there as well. So I think that'll prove very, 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 very much come the end of the race. Another horse I did like, but not yet sure if he's going to be... He's a reserve at the moment. Not yet sure he's going to be put in the race due to the amount of runners being taken out, is La Lupa for Fergal O'Brien. He obviously won the course in October. I just want to see if he's declared first as well. But they're the two horses I'm kind of looking at more than others. Is Rubber Ball 20th in the list of the race, and La Lupa 23rd in the list for the Greatwood Hurdle. He has a jockey at the moment booked in Tom Broughton, but we just don't know if there are any others going to be taken out from the race. So we wait and see. But it's an ultra-competitive renewal. A lot of good horses. There will be a lot of pace in this race, like I said. And Rubber Ball does come into this race fresh, which is not a bad thing. Like I said, horses have come into this race before in the past and have won, being for their first run of the season. So, like I said, it's a tough race. Very hard. If you find a win in the Greatwood, I take my hat off to you. But I'll side with two. Rubber Ball is going to be my main section, and if La Lupa for Fergal O'Brien does get in, he may be my second. Touching on Navan away from Cheltenham this weekend, guys, there's a couple of entries and races I want to just take a look at briefly before I go and give you my best bets. We'll start off on Saturday at Navan, the 2:45 for Tria Chase, a Grade 2 over 2 miles, where you have Marine Nationale as the favourite at 2-1, Dino Blue 7-2, Captain Guinness 11-2, and it's 8-1 bar, including Founder 50, Hercule de Soy, Solness, and Touch Me Not. excuse me. There are 7 runners in this race, like I said. I think Marine National will need to win this race on his way to defending his champion chase crown. If he doesn't win this race, it will be a disappointing start to his campaign. Barry Connell has outlined he wants to win the champion chase again, so that's the route they're going to go down, clearly. Sean Flanagan going to ride. If I was to fear someone in this race for Marine National, it would probably be the mare, Dino Blue, who is very well, is a very good horse. Won the mare's chase last season. Mark was for Willie Mullins. Dangerous combination as well. So I wouldn't side with Marine National in this race. I think he'd win, but a 2-1, I'd rather just watch this race as a neutral. Also, so I don't think I'd have a side selection in this race anyway. So it'll be a watching brief, an interesting race to watch on Saturday afternoon. Also on the Saturday card as well, I mentioned the Sunday after, but also on the Saturday card, the race after this, you have a beginner's chase headlined by the Supreme Novice Hurdle winner from last season in Copec the Boards for Willie Mullins. So a few notable entries. He is one of them this weekend. The next one will be on the next part of the show. But Copec the Boards in the race after Marine National on Saturday is the 2 races on Saturday I wanted to touching on Navan on Sunday again, and it's the 2:32 race I want to take a look at, which is the 3-mile Troytown Handicap Chase, a Grade 3. Currently 29 runners at the moment, headed by Kay de Bourbon for Willie Mullins at 6-1. Will the Wise in there for Gavin Cromwell at 6-1 as well. High Class Hero for Willie Mullins at 8-1, and I'd probably side with him if anyone at the moment in this race. You have some others in the market that are quite good as well, including Better Days Ahead, Answer the Cave. They're among some other nice horses you might want to take a look at on Sunday. If I am going to have a bet, it's going to be High Class Hero at 8-1. Willie Mullins has stated in his stable tours at the beginning of the campaign that this horse will probably be one you could look at in staying trips, staying chase races. If he wins this, it'll probably be a chance for him then to enter the calculations for the Grand National entry in April. So a good chance for High Class Hero. Kay de Bourbon is a worthy favourite, but I'd rather side with High Class Hero purely because of the fact of what Willie Mullins has said about him. I think he holds this horse in high regard. So High Class Hero will be my selection in the Troytown. The following race on Navan, 7 minutes past 3, I should say, Sunday afternoon, is where we see the first chance to see Final Demand over fences for Willie Mullins. Touted as a very good horse over fences this season. Could be a Brown Device, which I'm very short in the market anti-post wise there. He's going to start over 2.5 miles in that beginner's chase on Sunday. So, yeah, Copec the Board over fences, Final Demand over fences at Navan this weekend. It's a big weekend for Willie Mullins to see some of his star novice chasers. But yeah, they're the 4 sort of mentions I wanted for Navan this weekend. Was the 1 race on Saturday and Copec the Boards, and the 1 race on Sunday, which is the Troytown and High Class and Final Demand, the race after in the beginner's chase. So just to cover Navan a bit, just to keep you all in the loop for the season ahead, I will be doing these sort of bounce backs from meetings to meetings during the whole season on the channel. Best bets time for the channel this week on YouTube, guys. On the channel, I wish I could preview every race at Cheltenham this weekend, but I can't. I don't want to keep you all too much, so I'll just briefly run you through my 3 best bets of the weekend. The first one is not at Cheltenham, and surprisingly enough, with this being the Cheltenham Countdown channel, it's going to be at Wetherby, 3:43 on Saturday. A horse called Parisen Encore in a 2-mile 3-furlong handicap chase, back down under his last winning mark. Over this trip, at a course he quite likes at Wetherby, I'm siding with him. Trainer Nicky Richards is going really well at the moment, operating at a 33% strike rate. And he's 9-2, so that'll be 1 for me. Parisen Encore at Wetherby, 3:43 on Saturday. Back at Cheltenham now. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I really like Apai Denom in the opener on Friday. The case has been made. Currently favoured as well. What's not to like? Dan Skelton in flying form. Tristan Durrell will ride. And lastly, perhaps my best bet of the weekend at Cheltenham is going to be French Ship, back at the track he won at last month, won well that time. I think he can back that victory up again. I still think he's decently handicapped, and at 9-2 in the race, he's another best bet for me. He runs on Saturday at 3:30 in a handicap hurdle with Ben Jones on board again, and I'd really like him. Could win this on the way to being one I may like for the Coral Cup of the festival. I'll leave you at that. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been a blast giving you another Cheltenham preview. Comment your thoughts this weekend. Like and subscribe, all the things you do, and I'll see you all next time.